Mark Cuban reportedly is on the verge of selling his majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks for $3.5 billion allegedly. That's how much is reported that he's going to sell it for. I read that the Adelsons, or specifically Miriam Adelson, will retain at least around 57% majority ownership of the Mavericks. But what makes this deal really interesting to me is, according to CNBC and other sources, they're saying that Mark Cuban will be the minority owner, but he will have control of all basketball operations for the Dallas Mavericks. So that means he can still do trades, he can still do drafts, he can still do signings, which is very interesting that he possesses all that power. I'm sure that's going to be drawn out in the contract, but I have never seen a situation where the minority owner has all the power to do the personnel moves. So this is a very interesting deal in that regard. I kind of wonder with the Adelson family, just what's their motive in buying an NBA team? Like, is this like for Miriam's kids, like this future investment for them, or just, to me, it's just interesting. Just when I think about the dynamics of this relationship, that basically they're trusting Mark to run the operations despite them being the majority owner. I also think this kind of gives Cuban a blank check in the sense to be able to use the Adelsons as a resource when it comes to money and just the luxury tax situation, if you think about it. Because when I look at the Marion Adelson's net value, her net worth, I meant to say, it's reportedly $32.7 billion, which is insane. That's a ridiculous amount of money. I think that would make her the richest, or if not, the second richest owner in the league. I think Ballmer may have that same type of net worth. Let me look up Steve Ballmer just for a second. I'm just going to look him up right now. Let's see. Just looking at him right now. Let's see how much Steve Ballmer is worth. All right, I'm just pulling it up. Nah, Steve Ballmer is the richest owner in the NBA. Never mind, 112.8 billion. So she would be up there, just not Steve Ballmer rich, but still, this gives Mark Cuban just, I think, a huge boost when it comes to making personnel moves. If this is actually true, like, I think for a while Mark has been scared of luxury tax. I don't think he'll be that scared of it now, since he won't be footing the bill for this. So that would just be big for him. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around just this deal. Obviously for Mark, it's a smart decision. He gets a lot of money. Granted, he's already filthy rich, but he just adds to the pile. But I guess just I want to know just the Adelson family's motivation for buying an NBA team. I'm just curious about it. I guess maybe you see an NBA team as another tax shelter. Who knows? Just, to me, just a very odd transaction. I've also heard Mark Cuban has said that this will be his last year of Shark Tank. So I kind of wonder if he's eventually going to get out of this stuff. Obviously, he's leaving Shark Tank and just the Mavericks. Granted, they said that he'll still have control of basketball operations, but yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Just, it's an interesting development. I do remember when Mark first came into the league way back in 1999 or 2000. He was super young back then, and he was supposed to be this guy who was going to change the game in the sense that he was going to add something new when it came to mainly ref accountability. That to me is the biggest thing during the 2000s, when he would call out the refs for being corrupt and all this other stuff. And he was determined to change the game when it came to just the refs, but he wasn't really able to do anything about that. As we see, the NBA refs are still terrible today. But I think, to me, that's like the biggest legacy he leaves behind, at least in my eyes. And he definitely benefited from Dirk Nowitzki being on the Mavs when he became the owner. Obviously got that one championship with them, 2011. I guess that was good enough to set him for life. But yeah, I know I'm just going to rant about his legacy, but I just find this interesting, and I guess we'll find out more about this development tomorrow. So that's all I have to say about it.